Happy anniversary to AEW. Happy anniversary to AEW. Happy anniversary to All Elite Wrestling. Happy anniversary to AEW. Now that is what I call a masterpiece right there. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Pop Culture Asylum. And you know, today's Wednesday, and we just had ourselves our 1 year anniversary show for All Elite Wrestling. And my goodness, what a show it was tonight. This show was sacked from top to bottom, and we are going to go over everything from start to finish. And this was a very, very good show. Very, very solid show. I like most of what happened in this show tonight. So I'm going to go over everything from top to bottom. And without further ado, let's get this review underway. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we started off the show with FTR defending the AEW Tag Team Championships against Best Friends. Now, this matchup wasn't bad. It was really, really good. It was a good match. I was a little bit disappointed because both FTR and Best Friends are great at what they do. They're two really great tag teams, really solid tag teams. And of course, that's pretty obvious among the wrestling community. So I kind of expected a little bit more with this team, but for what we got tonight, I still thought it was a really, really good match. I just wish they kick it up into high gear a little bit more. But the match wasn't bad. The match was really, really good. One key part of the matchup, I believe it was Cash Wheeler and Trent Beretta. They're fighting in the outside, and you know, like Kip Sabian and Miro playing with that video game. You know, all that jazz. Cash Wheeler threw Trent right into the gaming machine, and you can see Kip Sabian is pissed. So he sends Penelope to go get Miro. And of course, that is going to play a major part after the matchup. And I thought that ending was a little bit weird. So everything was normal. Dax Harwood and Chucky T were both legal men, and Dax Harwood had his arms around Chucky T. So Chucky T went to go for I don't know, like the ending you have to see for yourself, but the referee just ducked for no. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but yeah, I didn't exactly like the ending. Like I see where they were going, but it didn't really flow well, if you know what I mean. So, well, FTR retained the AEW Tag Team Championship against Best Friends. So FTR cheated to win. I believe it was Cash Wheeler used the belt to hit Chucky T, but like I said, like I knew where they were going with the ending, but it didn't flow very well. You know what I mean? So I thought the ending was a little, but I'm not taking anything away from these two teams. They still had a really, really good match. Very good match. And I thought it was a strong way to start the show. So FTR retains the AEW Tag Team Championship. And then Best Friends, sad and all that. Still a little disappointed that they didn't win the titles. But just when they were about to leave, Miro and Kip Sabian attacked Best Friends after the matchup. So you can we can confidently say that a rivalry between best friends versus Kip Sabian and Miro is confirmed. So there is that. And speaking of Miro and Kip Sabian, they actually had a matchup immediately after the tag team championship matchup, and this was a way better showcase matchup than the first time we seen these two team up. That like the showcase matchup, like with like Miro and Kip Sabian, I thought it was great. I thought it was amazing. Like Miro, the former Rusev, looked like a beast. Like he was destroying 90% of the matchup, and of course, Kip Sabian was doing extremely well as always. I thought this was a way better showcase matchup since their debut matchup as a tag team. I thought this was amazing. Great showcase match from Miro and Kip Sabian. Then we get to some chaos. We see Lance Archer and Jon Moxley fighting like they're beating the living hell out of each other. But it looks like Lance Archer had the upper hand over Jon Moxley. So that was awesome. And then, of course, I believe it was like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, AEW announced a AEW World Championship tournament, and the finals will be held at Full Gear. Well, all the participants has been announced, and next week is the start of the World Championship tournament, and they announced the brackets for the tournament. So, and we got some solid matchups. So we got Pentagon Jr. versus Ray Felix, which I think is pretty interesting that AEW wants to face them, like put these two like face to face, considering that they're a tag team. But bro, if you guys seen Lucha Underground, you guys know what you guys are in for. Pentagon Jr. versus Ray Felix could possibly be one of the best matches of 2020. Like, it's freaking Pentagon Jr. versus Ray Felix. I am extremely excited for that one. I am a Lucha Underground fan, so I cannot wait for Pentagon Jr. versus Ray Felix. Then we got Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela. So this is the first time in a while that Kenny Omega is competing in singles actions against Joey Janela. So, and I believe the last time they fought was like the second episode of Dynamite. I mean, the second episode of AEW Dark. So, and that was like a long time ago. So, the fact that these two men are fighting again, it's going to be very interesting. Then we got Hangman Adam Page versus Colt Cabana. That's going to be a hard-hitting matchup. And then we got a David versus Goliath type matchup, as MJF's bodyguard and insurance policy, Warlow, goes one-on-one against Jungle Boy of the Jurassic Express. So that's going to be a very interesting matchup. So those are the brackets for the AEW World Championship Tournament. So I am extremely excited for that. Then we get to MJF's groundbreaking announcement. And I told you once, I told you twice, I'm going to say it a million more times. MJF and Chris Jericho are already gold by themselves. But when they do segments together, it's a masterpiece. It's a literal masterpiece. So MJF calls out Chris Jericho and the entire Inner Circle. And the groundbreaking announcement is that MJF wants to join the Inner Circle. Now, the rest of the group doesn't want MJF to be in the group. But Chris Jericho is like, he wants to think it over. So next week, Chris and bro, you have to watch this segment for yourself. Like the way Chris Jericho and MJF hyped this up was gold. Was beautiful. Was gold. So Chris Jericho and MJF just hyping up this meeting. Like, oh yeah, you want to have this meeting? Yeah. Well, we are going to have it in a steakhouse. Me and you, one on one, in a meeting at a steakhouse next week. And they talk like they were having an actual matchup, but in reality, they're just having a meeting at a steakhouse. Like, if you guys haven't seen the segment, you guys gotta watch it. Like every time Chris Jericho and MJF are on screen, it's gold. It's no scratch gold. It's platinum. Every time Jericho and MJF are in a segment together, it's freaking platinum. So amazing, amazing segment as always from Chris Jericho and MJF. Then we get to Britt Baker and Tony Schiavone with their segment. And Britt Baker's saying that she is the role model, which she is. She is a way better role model than Bayley and Sasha Banks, but that's my opinion. That's my opinion. But Britt Baker saying that she is the baddest bitch on the block and she is coming for that AEW Women's Champion. Which, if I were to make the bold prediction right now, I think that Britt Baker would face Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's Championship at Full Gear. And I think that is going to be a great match. And honestly, as much as I love Hikaru Shida, like Shida has been doing a great job as AEW Women's Champion. She's doing what she can. But I think Britt Baker as AEW Women's Champion, I think that's the way to go. I think it's time. Like Britt Baker as a heel, she has been doing such a great job. I think it's time to give her the AEW Women's Championship. And like Britt Baker and Tony Schiavone, they're like the best non-couple like ever. Like their chemistry is insane. Like the segment like that they had was like absurd, but like it's like a good kind of absurd. You know what I mean? So, and all of that segment was to promote Britt Baker being in action again next week. So there's that. Then we get to our next matchup, which to me was match of the freaking night. Cody Rhodes versus Orange Cassidy for the AEW TNT Championship. And my God, what a matchup. What a freaking matchup. So good. It was such a good matchup. And Darby Allin was also watching very, very closely from the high seats. So Darby Allin was acting like Sting tonight. But there was a reason for it. Because whoever won the matchup between Cody Rhodes and Orange Cassidy would face Darby Allin for the TNT title at Full Gear. Now, when I heard this announcement, it was like bittersweet. Because don't get me wrong, I'm a sucker for Cody Rhodes versus Darby Allin matches. Like every time these two men fight in the ring, like it's great chemistry from both Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin. Like every time they have their matches, like I love it. But like, what does that do for Brody Lee though? What does that do for Brody Lee? Because in my last video, I was thinking that Cody Rhodes and Brody Lee have their match, have their rubber match, because Cody Rhodes has a win over Brody Lee, and Brody Lee has a win over Cody Rhodes. And AEW loves to do rubber matches, so I figure why not have a rubber match at Full Gear? But it looks like it was a change of plans. So it's kind of bittersweet for me. but it's understandable why some people might not like this. But again, it doesn't bother me that much. It does bother me a little bit that we're not getting this rubber match between Cody and Brody. But I'm also a sucker for Cody Rhodes versus Darby Allin. So I guess that's not a bad substitution. But talking about tonight, a amazing matchup between Cody Rhodes and Orange Cassidy. Like all you people saying that Orange Cassidy was nothing more than just a comedy act, that he's just a joke to professional wrestling. Nah, man, he's more than that. He's more than that, and you know it. And he proved it tonight. Orange Cassidy gave it his all against Cody Rhodes. And this matchup ended in a draw. Orange Cassidy didn't defeat Cody Rhodes, but technically Cody Rhodes didn't defeat Orange Cassidy either. But yeah, it ended in a draw, so nobody won. But Cody retains the TNT title. But it was announced that in 2 weeks' time, we are going to get a rematch between Cody Rhodes and Orange Cassidy. So I cannot wait for Rhodes versus Cassidy too. But what they did tonight was amazing. And all you Orange Cassidy haters saying that he's nothing but a joke, nah, man. He clearly shows that he is more than just a comedy act. And he proved it big time tonight. Awesome matchup between Cody Rhodes and Orange Cassidy. And this was definitely match of the night. Match of the night, 100% between Cody Rhodes and Orange Cassidy. Then after the matchup, Jon Moxley and Lance Archer brawled again, this time in the interview area. So you know things are getting heated between Moxley and Archer before their World Championship matchup later on tonight. Then we get to Matt Hardy. So Matt Hardy and his entire family, Rebby and their 3 kids, and oh my god, Maxwell has grown, man. Like it's crazy too because the last time I saw Maxwell was like in Impact, and he was this small, but now he's like he looks 5 or 6, but he's and Maxwell has that like long hair, like damn. So Matt Hardy and his family came to watch, and he had this announcement saying that he's 100% ready to go to wrestle again. But then we look into the Titantron, and you can see basically the attacker who attacked Matt Hardy all those couple of weeks ago, the man who took Matt Hardy out because Matt Hardy got hit with a lead pipe on his leg. Like somebody attacked him with a lead pipe. Well, that man turned out to be none other than Sammy Guevara. Now, like, when I initially knew about this, I'm like, really? I thought the Guevara Hardy thing was over with. But the more that I think about it, I can honestly understand why they're doing this. I can honestly understand why they're doing this because their matchup at All Out wasn't all that it cut out to be, and it ended up being a disaster. So I wasn't initially a fan of this at first, but in a way, I can kind of understand where they're coming from with this feud. So it looks like we're going to see Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara one more time at Full Gear. And hopefully, this is the last time Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara, fight against each other. Like, have this heated rivalry. Because, like, I get it. All Out was a disaster for both men, and the ending wasn't the big ending that they wanted it. So I will give AEW and this rivalry a pass because they want to redo their all out disaster. So I understand where they're coming from, and I do not mind the rivalry. As long as their matchup at Full Gear is the final time they, compete against each other. Well, in a personal rivalry sense. So there is that. Then after that, we had a drawing. So next week we have a fatal four-way tag team matchup, and the winner faced FTR for the AEW Tag Team Championships at Full Gear. And of course, the tag teams were being announced in a drawing in this segment. Now, the four men that were announced was Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, Private Party, John Silver and Alex Reynolds of Dark Order, which I thought was really, really, really awesome. The Butcher and the Blade, and of course, the Young Bucks. Now, we all know obviously the Young Bucks are going to win next week and will face FTR, at Full Gear. But I can see where AEW is coming from because even though they're going in that direction, AEW needs to justify why the Young Bucks are facing FTR at Full Gear, because as even though we're all going to that direction, trust me, it's going in that direction. We haven't seen the Young Bucks in the ring in a while. So the Young Bucks win next week can justify even more on why the Young Bucks are facing FTR at Full Gear. You know what I mean? So there was that. I cannot wait for the AEW. I cannot wait for the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team matchup next week. I think it's going to be a great match. 100%. Then we get to one of our main events, our co-main event. Hikaru Shida defending the AEW Women's Championship against Big Swole. Now, this matchup wasn't bad. There was two botches which were really noticeable, but they tried their best. I still thought it was a good match. Like, it wasn't a great matchup. Like, again, there were a couple of botches and they could have done better, but it wasn't bad. I'm not taking anything away from both Shida and Big Swole because I thought they still had a decent match. Of course, the botches still devalued the matchup a little bit, but I still think they did a good job for what they did. And of course, Hikaru Shida retained the AEW Women's Championship against Big Swole. And then before we get to our main event, we had an interesting promo from Shawn Spears, and it looks like they're teasing a rivalry between Shawn Spears and Scorpio Sky, and it's been a while since we see Shawn Spears on AEW TV, AEW Dynamite TV, so that's going to be very interesting. And considering that Shawn Spears hasn't been used majorly lately, I think this would be a good rivalry to bring Shawn Spears back into the fold. So I cannot wait for that. I cannot wait for that rivalry. Then we get to our main event. Jon Moxley versus Lance Archer for the AEW World Championship. And because of the brawls between these two tonight, Tony Khan made it a no disqualification match. And it was everything I love. You know, I'm a sucker for hardcore wrestling. I love the chaos. I love the animosity. I love hardcore wrestling. So the fact that these two men fought in a no disqualification match. Amazing matchup between these two. It was a great and brutal matchup. Jon Moxley retained the AEW World Championship once again from Lance Archer. And it was like not like a paradigm shift. Like Jon Moxley had to do like a roll up to defeat Lance Archer. So after the match, so Moxley retained the AEW World Championship. But after the matchup, Lance Archer was attacking Jon Moxley. And in a move which I thought was pretty interesting, Eddie Kingston and the Lucha Bros, which were also on commentary, by the way, for the entire match, came in and actually saved Jon Moxley. Like Ray Felix hit Lance Archer with the chair, and they were ready to attack Archer, and Archer was ready to go to war. But Jake Roberts pushes Lance Archer away. But and oh my goodness, I can't speak. And in another rear move, Kingston and the Lucha Bros. Sorry, I can't speak tonight. My goodness. Kingston and the Lucha Bros were celebrating with Moxley, but then I realized this is gonna go south. And for Moxley, it did go south for him, as Jon Moxley got choked out from Eddie Kingston, and of course the Lucha Bros stopped security and the referee from stopping the chokehold. So it looks like things are not over for Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston, and I think they're gonna have one more matchup at Full Gear between Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. And honestly, I can't even be mad at it. I don't mind one more matchup between Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston at Full Gear for the AEW World Championship. Well, it hasn't been announced at Full Gear, but I think that's where it's going. And I don't mind it. Moxley versus Kingston one more time for the AEW World Championship. And we all saw what happened when these two men fought for the AEW World title. It was brutal. So imagine what they're going to do on pay-per-view. It's going to be 10 times better, and I cannot wait. So that was the AEW anniversary show. Overall, I thought it was a really, really good show. It did have its major ups. It did have some downs, but overall, it was a solid show. I thought it was a really, really good show. So I want to know what you guys think in the comments section. What do you guys think about the AEW anniversary show? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? Was there any segments you liked? Was there any segments you hate? Speak out in the comments section. Don't be afraid to speak out on your opinion. Okay? And hey, people in the comments section, don't be dicks. Okay? Everyone has a right to their own opinion. Okay? Nobody should be attacked because of their opinion. Okay? I won't attack you because you have a different opinion. Okay? Everyone's entitled. This is an opinion free. This is a opinion free zone where everyone is entitled to speak their own opinions on my channel. So, like I said, speak out on the comment section. If you guys like it, if you guys hate it, if there was anything you like, if there was anything you hate. And yeah, overall for me, I thought this was a solid show. Very, very, very solid show. But yeah, that's all I got to say about the 1 year anniversary show for All Elite Wrestling. So that's my review for the AEW anniversary show. And thank you so much for watching. If you guys like what you saw tonight, leave a like, leave a comment. And if you guys like what you see in my channel, make sure you subscribe and don't forget to ring the bell so that way you will never miss my videos. Thank you so much for watching, and good night. Or where I'm living is nighttime, but wherever you're living around the world, good night, good morning, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a nice rest of the night, or if you live somewhere that is daytime, I hope you have a nice rest of the day. This is the Pop Culture Asylum, signing out.